So let me talk through what you're looking at here. So you see the different colors at the top. So I'll reference the color. In green references the TSIA that we spoke of. It would be allotment. There is a change there. I'm going to go back to that. The blue is the increase of taxpayer dollar for the referendum. We also discussed a non-recurring payment to PCTA. I'll go back to that in a minute. And then the lilac, I think, is colored. It would be the total of all that put together. So starting with TSIA, I will say last time on the one page received, the estimated lowest amount based on the number of teachers who had to do that qualification last time was 1,183. I'll tell you that's our not taking into account 378,000 we have to set aside for charters. So the 4.1 million is 378,000 shy of 4.1 million. Cut starts at 5.6 million, removes the family empowerment scholarships, removes the charters that we have to set aside for as well. So that allocation is 3.754998 estimated there. When I say the low end estimate, it's because we know we're going to have to recalculate the number of employees that qualify for TSIA. We have to, right? And we were clear about that last time. You can see what the average base salary is for that group, and it's going across the top line of the 10-year plus classroom teacher. You can see the expected 1,083. What that portion is for an average annual salary increase, what that is for a minimum, what that is for maximum, obviously there's a difference between someone with 10 years and someone with significantly more. And then we put down the average base salary for the number of employees that are less than 10 or 10 or more that don't fit the category for TSIA this year. And you can see that the difference in the salary there because that does track on the across. The top, you'll see totals of 3.75 million. On the referendum, increase of 1,612 per employee. Average cost for fringe is 11,763,938. That does bring the referendum that goes into salary for each employee in the unit to 12,693. And we had used the number 1,612 last time, but we did put it in the table for you to see and see the numbers. And equally as important, you can see where that creates an average increase for both groups, a minimum increase for both groups, and a maximum increase for both groups. The non-reoccurring payment, which we proposed would happen after not just ratification, but board approval, as soon as it could get programmed into the next paycheck or pay period. We suggested 0.75%. That would come out to $406 per employee as a one-time non-reoccurring payment. Total cost with fringe is just shy of $3 million. And the purple just adds them together. So with TSIA, that top group, average increase of over 5%, 5.05. Average annual increase is $3,201. You can see the minimum max percents there. And for the folks that don't qualify for the TSIA, average increase a little over $2,000, which equates to 3.31%. You can see the max there. And the big asterisk is we still have to go back and recalculate. One of the things that we did after we met, I know that Carly and Dina and I were on a call with a group trying to talk through TSIA, and they kept clarifying. This gave me a little bit of heartburn. It was non-grant funded position, but classroom position. I think so, right? FDSP is what they said. Funding. So we have folks that are 12-year, 14-year that are classroom teachers that are out of a grant funded position, which is we have to dive into that. We really do. And so we don't want to take away from that group, but that might impact the number of employees. And that's literally person by person, but more importantly, person by what they're teaching next year, not this year. So it's a little bit there too. But the 1,083 is minimum because if the number of employees accessing TSA goes down, that number will obviously go up because we're dividing by pull them out moving forward. Charlie, Dave, what did I miss there? Was the draft. Good. Questions on that proposal, or do you have a counter proposal at all, Tracy? Or
Well, I do have I have a
Yeah.
question. When you say a non-grant funded position, can you give us some examples of what are grant funded positions?
Grant funded positions could be things funded through Title I, which we have a lot of schools with Title I dollars. We have a lot of schools that utilize instructional coaches for Title I dollars. Gets a little bit tricky because they're not classroom, because they're instructional coaches, but you might have an instructional coach who's teaching part of the day, which is a different thing. You see that quite a bit in secondary. We also have Title II, which is positions paid for out of professional learning. Usually that's not the classroom teacher. But we do have positions funded through Title II, so they're going to qualify, but they're not. Title III is for ESOL, or English Language Learners. So we've got to go in and vet out any positions that are funded fully through Title III for English Language Learning. And I forget the other titles, so don't quote me, but there's CTAE and adult ed funded positions that are all grant funded as well. I think it's Title 7 or something. It's another title there.
Wait, what was the one you said before?
CTAE, adult ed. Some of those may be grant funded positions too.
CTAE is adult funded, or is that something different?
CTAE, and adult ed, so career technical and career technical education, career technical education adult. That's where the A comes in. My apologies, that's correct. And we have to check and vet out those one position at a time as well. So I got messier, but still there, still following the letter of the law. But when they were clear to qualify as at BSP funded, and it said non-grant funded positions, and we started to go, oh, you know what, that people not funded there too. So
Do we know, you don't know how many people that
we
is?
haven't cost. And honestly, I don't think many, but one is enough for us to do time out. We'll do that first, right? Whether it's 1, 2, or 10, or 100. I don't think it's that many, but there are some. Probably a little larger on the CTAE than we would in the K-12 science. Great question.
The CTAE, weren't they already excluded?
The classroom, they're in the same unit.
At that, especially because of the amount of money that's being provided, we wanted to go back and talk about the language that we gave to you. And I thought about, there was a question that you had asked me about the Article 35 teacher contracts, and you had asked me how could that be done without adding some new form or something to be done.
Right.
And so I spent some time thinking about it. And then the other night I had this idea, which was whenever somebody gets non-renewed, they're getting a letter that is signed by you, correct?
Correct.
What if, in addition to your signature, it also had the signature of the area superintendent? I mean, that's not really anything extra. It's just, you're following the same process. You already said that, that it's not like policy, but it's, did you say it's the process that the county goes through that the area supes are already being notified?
Sure.
So this would just be sort of like reminding them, like, yes, to make sure that they actually had those conversations with the administrators.
So I'll start on Article 35 since you went there first. So there was two parts of that. There was part C that you're referring to now, and there was part G that you also listed.
Mm-hmm.
So at this time, we are not willing to open up to C.
Okay.
Okay. At this time, we're not willing to open up for G, but I may bring that back and revisit it, which is for the strengths and length of professional contracts, teaching certificates.
Whenever you say that you may bring it back to revisit, do you mean like through this bargaining session?
Yes, yeah, I want to focus on salary for sure, and
Mhm.
that might be one that I'm able to bring back.
Okay,
I'll go on to the others. So here. A lot of areas here, unfortunately. So in Article 36, we're not going to open that article up either. Although, can't look at process to ensure that can play itself out, but we're not going to open that up to the language. So that's 35 and 36. I'll go backwards in order. Article 20, at this time, we're not going to open that up either.
I'm sorry, which one was that?
20, sorry, it's the terminal pay.
Okay.
We have Article 8B, the bereavement. We understand that just sunset for 1 year. Today, we're not going to open that up, but I may be able to revisit it during the bargaining sessions. That's 8B. And last, on Article 8E, we are not open to opening up that portion of the article.
All right, so then going back to salary. If we take a look at salary, we spent a lot of time talking and thinking about the salary and the fact that this annual referendum increase, I want to make sure that I understand. This referendum increase is something really, because it's from the referendum, it comes to the employees anyway, is that correct?
It gets divided up through, it's part of taxpayer dollars. 85% of the funds for all this is paid to taxpayer dollars.
Yes, I just want to make sure though, I'm right in saying that it's really something that's coming to us anyway, correct?
You're here.
Yes, as Mike mentioned.
Yes, I just want to make sure.
That's the majority of all the other funds, paid by the taxpayer.
Yes. And then we know that the TSIA funds are the money that is provided from the state for teacher salaries. And we know that that's going to classroom teachers that are in the classroom next year at 10 plus more years, right?
Correct.
Okay, and then we've got this non-reoccurring payment, which is 0.75%, which is what is coming from district, which is sort of, it's gonna be classified as like a bonus because it's a non-reoccurring payment.
Correct.
So we spent a lot of time talking about this and thinking about what inflation is for Pinellas and where we live. And so the offer that we want to make is for this 0.75% not to be as a bonus, but to have this go into the salary. And we actually want to add 3.25% to keep up with the price of inflation, especially considering the fact that we don't know what the cost of the insurance changes are going to be. I'm hearing all the time that people are really struggling to pay, especially for medical stuff. There were people that wanted to come to the thing this morning, but they literally couldn't because they're working 2 jobs, and that was during their other jobs.
So to summarize, your counter is to turn the 0.75% into base pay
Mm-hmm.
and add an additional 3.25%.
Yes,
So
to help us keep up with the price of inflation.
So you're saying 4%?
4% on top of the taxpayer ref and on top of the TSI.
Because the referendum funds would have been there anyway. Because that is, the referendum is money that we get based off of the voters.
So that's a lot, and that's not something certainly I'm going to be able to agree to today. And it also impacts the other rule of the state of highly effective and effective proportionality as well. We would certainly need to cross that out. The problem with adding that in to the base is you're adding TSIA money on top of money into the base for a person who qualifies for gold, which is literally not a way to program it in. So we're going to have an issue with that even if we were to agree to it. But we would have to cost it out and get it back to you. But that's a lot more than what we have to offer.
Well, I'm gonna just be honest with you, like I understood that you didn't have a lot to offer.
Mhm.
But I think the thing that really bothers me is some of the contract language that we brought to you. There was no cost to some of that.
That will have been quite a cost, but that's okay.
No, but I'm saying like some of them had no cost. And so those were still no.
But you were going to come with 4% today either way.
We had discussed, this is what we had discussed after having the insurance.
Understood.
And the big reason to us coming with more had to do with the fact that we have no idea what the outcome is going to be from the insurance.
Sure.
And we know how much teachers are struggling. And so we've got to be able to somehow compensate.
Well, what I would suggest is we toss that out. We're going to come back to the healthcare group on Monday, the 13th. We're going to have some better cost analysis for that too. We didn't want to start with that. We'll build into that after today's session as well. And we'll be able to revisit this group after you see a little more clearly where we'll probably land in healthcare with a recommendation group as well. Because I hear your concern, and healthcare is a concern for all of us with rising costs. But you can always stretch your dollars so many different ways. And we, as you saw last time, we have millions less coming in next year than we had the year before. And we have to continue to right size at the same time. So,
and like I said, I do understand that you guys are like strapped. I hear that from the insurance. When I say strapped, you know what I mean? Like you only got so much money from the state. Like I do understand that. I absolutely get that. But like I said, like we had some stuff that we presented that would have given people some sense of security, at least with their job positions, especially with Article 35, with the signature of an area suit. And that doesn't cost anything.
understood.
Let me ask one other question, actually. The annual referendum increase.
Yeah.
Yes, it's coming from referendum, but is that now going to be included in to what the base salary is? And what happens if the referendum decreases?
So two things, the referendum is not included in base, it's in total compensation, right?
Mhm.
That's been that way ever since the referendum started. The referendum decreasing, it's all based on taxpayer dollars that we collect, right? So
Mhm.
as I said last time, we are projecting a year from now, how much we think the state or the county is gonna be able to give us in referendums and funds to pay back, right? Because those don't get collected until April of next year when taxes are due. The notion of, I can't predict property taxes, so I'm not that smart, but the notion of us having less referendum to go around in future years, as long as referendum is something that continues to get approved, is unlikely due to the fact that we have less employees to divide that up, and we still have a large property tax base here in the county. But I can't predict it's gonna go up or down. I can't predict it's gonna go down. I'll leave it at that. That would be to say that we're gonna collect a lot less money than the county is predicting. And for some reason, because of that, we would give less on to less employees, because we also know it's gonna be less employees there.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess can we go ahead and caucus and then we
Yeah.
can come back in and we can,
Sure, we'll give you guys the link for a few minutes.
yes,
You want to text me when you're ready? That's
that's fine.
awesome. Thank you.
do.
It's connected.
Okay, where did you say it is connected?
It is connecting. Right now.
Yes, we're good.
Okay. So I just wanted to, we went ahead and we had opportunity to caucus. And after talking some more and thinking about this, what we're noticing is that the only raise that is actually happening would be happening for only the 10+ year teachers, which is exactly 282,835 teachers approximately, give or take, based off of, you said like some people are coming out based off of grants and things like that. Since the referendum doesn't add to the base salary for retirement, that's coming to us anyway.
The referendum
So the referendum is
is
included.
not part of the base.
Just
There's a base salary that is subject to when we used to do increases that were based on highly effective. That's just the base part, but the referendum is included in retirement.
So it's not part of the base salary, but it is included in retirement. But like if it like it's not like the amount isn't guaranteed, correct?
It's for the next 4 years.
Yes, but I mean, like the amounts can go up or down based off of the taxes that are brought in, correct? And then we do have the non-reoccurring payments, but based off of the language that we gave to you, that there's actually some people that could be losing money. If you're somebody that loses a parent or a child, anybody that is qualified under the bereavement language, and you recertify, that's going to cost you $424 that year. So we're actually taking a loss. So with that being said, I am going to definitely stick to the offer that I made, which was the 3.25 plus 1%. And I know that you said that you had to go back and look and cost out some of this information.
3.25 plus the 1, I want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Yes.
3.25 plus 10.
Well, I said
0.75.
3.25 because that is the cost of inflation, and then the raise, which would be 1%.
7.75.
And the reason why we did that is because we don't have any idea how much the cost of insurance is going to be. And we know how bad people are struggling.
You said 1%, you mean 3/4. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
So it would total to be 4.25%.
It's fine. It's different what you said a little bit ago too.
Oh, well, that's what I had written. So I must have said one thing. So 4.25%.
So just to confirm then, it's the original 0.75% that we had offered and an additional 3.5% is your add on top of what we had originally offered.
So what I'm saying is this non-reoccurring payment,
Yes.
not to use that, and instead go back over to base salary. And we would like to have 4.25%.
Exclusive of the referendum increase and the TSI.
And I think I just want to reiterate, and I understand that this is voter money. This is money that the voters chose for teachers to be able to have. This is money that part of the reason why we have the referendum is because PCTA is like funding that referendum campaign. We're the ones that are out on the street corners holding those signs. We're the ones that are going around handing out signs late in the evenings. I remember being at a church, handing out signs to people coming. I stood on the street corner for hours dressed in a Stanley Cup, holding a sign for the referendum. We understand the importance of the referendum, but at the same time, this was not the voters didn't choose this to become our salary. This was supposed to be in addition to the salary, not a replacement for. And to me, like, I feel like that was like your intent, sort of like, this is your salary now, and that's what the referendum is. And then the fact that we gave you contract language that didn't even, like, some of it doesn't even cost anything. And it was like, no. So that's,
So we view the rep as part of salary. What I would recommend then is that we revisit EWBS on Monday, set a time to revisit this group after EWBS.
okay,
We can do that later that Monday afternoon if you feel like that's enough time for you to turn around what we give you Monday afternoon for EWBS. Or we can do later in the week, like a Thursday or afternoon or something like that to give you more time to pull this group back together.
all right, let's look.
So
All of next week.
again, it's how quickly you're ready to turn around and come back to the group. It could be Monday afternoon, the 13th at probably 2:30. Give a little time between the two sessions because UWBS is scheduled till 1:30. If not, I know that Tuesday and Wednesday, a bunch of us have conflicts, but we could do Thursday afternoon, the 16th, a little more flexible there too.
Are you guys up for Thursday?
Supposed to be in a training. The pulse, yeah. If we could pull out of that without conflict, I mean,
I could pull out a pulse. I'm actually kind of thinking.
I'm gonna tell us, so. We might be able to pull out, maybe probably less.
We could do in the afternoon.
What time works in the afternoon?
What time do you think you guys could come in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah,
afternoon,
anything after 12 o'clock.
1 o'clock?
You need more time, Tracy.
That's not Tracy.
I'm
And Tracy.
Come back, you said come up South End, so good call.
Or from Boca.
That works for us.
We breaks for lunch at 11:45.
More. Promise you that.
I'm good for a Friday.
I'm
Where-
Friday.
Aren't you out of town?
I'm on.
They're not gonna-
No,
They're not again if you
Oh,
Or there's Monday, the 20th.
Monday the 20th is choppy. I don't know about anybody else who's here. Late afternoon.
all is still out. What about,
It's not,
what about Tuesday?
is this your main thing?
Go Wednesday the 22nd.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, I would just note that we're close to
We're
our.
getting our time frames.
Right.
Yeah.
So Tuesday, the 22nd,
Wednesday.
or Wednesday, sorry.
If we can't do Thursday next week.
We can't do Thursday, because there's too many people that aren't gonna be here. So Thursday, Wednesday, why don't you doing that? Because you said Thursday before.
So is there, how big was the conflict on Wednesday the 15th? I know a couple of them said that stuff going on.
We have SEA at 3:30.
Yeah, I got that. So let me go before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tracy, check on Wednesday the 15th. Maybe
One, two, three, four, five, two, they're out. You have 4, 5 people. Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Alright, so we're gonna stick with the 22nd.
And I asked Monday again, the 20th. You said it was spotty.
It's a bunch of us have LTA interviews in the afternoon too. We could go soup through later. Probably no earlier than 3:30 or 4. I mean, that's not terribly late, but we could do that.
On what day?
Monday.
Oh, that's, we have our,
We can move.
We can move forward.
Yeah.
that's true. Is everybody on 20th?
I am. I am.
You are,
You have,
we have,
there's a training. There's
That's
some
it.
kind of training.
oh, yeah, that's the training over in Tampa. All right, so then that's not gonna work. So let's go back to,
Was
When we go
22nd.
back to Monday, the training we're gonna finish.
no, it's not your training, it's
I
mine.
know that you were gonna finish and then do a board meeting afterwards. We can
Yes.
move the board meeting. They're talking about doing this late.
they were, yeah, they were.
Oh, if you're gonna do it later, then that's fine.
So on the 20th, I would suggest 4 to 5 p.m.
Perfect.
And we'll just move our board meeting, we can shift it down.
Okay. And if I need to, I can always leave Tampa or,
That'll get you back here at the same time as you were coming for the other meeting.
yeah, I was just, that meeting is supposed to be done at 3 and I was just concerned about traffic. But it was our stuff, so I was just gonna say, oh, start with that one.
So July 20th, Monday at 4 P.M.
Do you guys guess a week earlier this time of day, and you guys back here for salary on the 24th?
And we're gonna be here at. Tracy, we're here
What,
at.
where, do you wanna be here? Or why don't, that's a different day, why don't, oh, wait a minute, no. Cause are they bringing all of the peer stuff in already?
They're not supposed to.
Not until the 22nd.
Okay, so then why,
I would like to, but I'm coming off of the interviews upstairs with people that are from 2 to 4, so I just want to be careful that I can get across the street, but I'm being ready, so I might be even later if I'm across the street.
oh, well, that's even better, because I'm coming from Tampa.
So your place 4:30?
Perfect. Does that work for everybody? I just need some in case if I'm in traffic.
That work?
Yeah, work.
All right, 4:30, 5:30? No, on the 20th. 4:30.